All right, so it goes on my camera. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. I always have a countdown before it goes beep. And then the camera comes on. Welcome to another edition of What's Your Problem, the podcast. Many people ask me, man, why did you name your podcast What's Your Problem? And those of you who have rocked with me for quite a few years, we've been doing this since 2017. It's had many evolutions. The sales life, which I believe sales or learning how to sell is a life skill, not just a profession. And then I moved it to the Marsh Buice podcast. But then I was just like, what is it I really talk about? And it's about the three problems we all face in life: uncertainty, adversity, and complacency. That's the three problems. Doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, whether you're at the bottom of the barrel or you're standing high on the mountaintop. Adversity, uncertainty, and complacency are all going to be there in one form or another. So this podcast is about helping you build your confidence to handle the adversity, embrace uncertainty, and never settle again. And there are 5 core skills that it takes to be successful in sales and in life. And so I've been in sales going on 26 years. And so the skills that have helped me power through 26 years of sales, I've been able to apply to my life as well. And those skills all start with the letter C. You already have them within. It's communication, curiosity, creativity, continuous learning and action, and productive confrontation. And so if you work within the realm of these skills every single day, being a better communicator, staying curious, which is what we're going to talk about today, being creative, being a continuous learner, and embracing some productive confrontation, which is what we're going to talk about today, curiosity and productive confrontation, then if you continue to work on these things and just you can identify it, and where you find your wheel slippage in life, it's probably because you've let one of those 5 C's slip. You're no longer communicating. You're not creative or curious. You're making these statements. You're not being resourceful when you lack the resources. You've stopped confronting, but in a productive way. It's not like you just go guns blazing on people. But, these are the things, man, you have to look at. So I think these 5 C's are instantly a way that you can kind of check in, like, bro, I'm frustrated right now. What's going on? Just check the list. Am I communicating? Curious, creative, continuous learner. Maybe you stop learning. Or maybe you're not confronting some things in a productive way that you should be. So that's what this podcast is all about. So those of you who have rocked with me for many years, or if you've been here, if this is your second time here, welcome aboard, man. We got plenty of content. This is episode 834, so we got plenty of content for you to go back to and listen. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. I'm so happy that you are here with us. And as always, I do ask, it's the only thing I ask for, that you will continue to get the word out, man. Share this show with someone else. If there's a specific episode, maybe not this one, but if there's one episode that really deeply resonates with you, dude, share it. Give it to somebody else. I'm all about just giving, which is what we're going to talk about today. I'm all about giving, man, and sharing what I've learned, what I've lived, what I'm living, the struggles, the festivities, in the riding high moments. I mean, it's all the fabric of life itself. So if there's more that I can do for you also, there is, if you go to myname.com, marshbuice.com, there's a microphone in the bottom right, and you can leave me a message there. Or what do you feel about the show, or if you have some show ideas or some things that you want me to address, or question. I'm no hair, man, but I'm all ears. Be glad to help you out on that. So let's rock out with today's episode, man. And it's about staying curious. I say that, a lot of times in sales, and I find that when salespeople are slipping, and sales is a metaphor for life, okay? So if you're not in sales, don't click off. Just switch it for where you are in life. And this is going to be very helpful for you as well. So I'm going to use sales as a metaphor because it's something we can all identify with, but also just swap it out with whatever's going on in your life and look at the areas where you're confrontational and no longer curious. In both sales and in life, staying curious, dude, that's crucial because it's going to prevent you from becoming confrontational. It does. And oftentimes, salespeople, one of the biggest fears, believe it or not, is that salespeople fear coming across pushy. And they end up overcorrecting, and they end up missing sales and opportunities and a chance to earn their customers' trust and business. And there's a significant difference between being pushy and persistent. Being pushy involves single-minded, full-throttle approach without considering the other party's perspective. But persistence, on the other hand, means that you're moving forward with tact and empathy and strategy and flexibility. So you've got to push yourself to be persistent with your customer. See, being persistent in sales and in life is a form of productive confrontation. That's one of the 5 core skills that you need to be confident in life, to build your confidence in life. It's productive confrontation. And this is what I preach on all the time. You've got to be confrontational, but in a productive way. Though the customers may not ever express it, they really appreciate a salesperson who is persistent. It demonstrates a committed course of action. Think about it. If you genuinely believe in the value of your product or service, persistence should be a no-brainer because you're not just selling, you're helping your customers avoid settling for less. What are they going to settle less for? Possibly an inferior product, or if it's the same product, they're buying from an inferior salesperson because no one's going to invest not only in their craft, but also in their level of service better than you. You've got to be so convicted of that you will remain persistent. You will push yourself to be persistent with the customer because you are that invested, not only in yourself, but also in the service of others. It should be a no-brainer to be persistent with a customer. And customers need your help, man. Customers hesitate for 2 reasons. Number 1, they're scared of making a decision because number 2, they're scared it's going to be the wrong decision. Your persistence can help build their confidence and help them reach a decision that they feel good about on their own. You're not making the decision for them. You're helping them by offering different vantage points, different perspectives. You're an options trader. You're just trading one option for another. You're an image consultant. How will this look in their life? Whatever it is, whether they want to feel good or they need something to improve their efficiencies in life that will streamline and make it better. If you can tap into those and offer different ways for them to look at it, being persistent in offering those, that builds their confidence. As a byproduct, it builds yours too. But it builds their confidence because they end up making a decision on their own. The best decision is the one that you can make, and you go home and you tell other people, your friends, your family, I made this decision to buy this, and here's why. I want my customers to walk out not wondering. I want them validated. I want to know that they worked to arrive at a decision for themselves. You're actually helping customers make that decision. You're building their confidence. And really, man, it can help them make decisions in other areas of their life because your product or service that you offer changes something in their life and improves their life in such a way that it just perpetuates. Then they can make another better decision and another one and another one. And even if they make a wrong decision in the future, they can correct that because they have enough confidence built up in the bank. And to know that as a salesperson, you help build that, you'll never know this, but that's the calling on your life as a salesperson. Dude, I've dealt with many customers who, after experiencing my persistence, you know what they tell me? Thank you. I've had crusty, musty, dusty customers. I mean, just come at me. And I just stay persistent. I don't get all upset about it. I've had to learn that. But I just stay persistent. I'm going to help them find a way. Even if their decision is to not do business with me. Dude, there are millions of customers out there. It's okay. Did I do my part? The answer is irrelevant. It's the effort that I put to help them arrive at an answer. That's what's important. And that's what you got to think about. So I've had many customers who initially, when I first met them, man, they just pushed hard against me. Don't push me. Blah, blah, blah. They did all that. And at the end, man, they're walking out with their paperwork, and they look me in my eyes, and they say, thank you. Appreciate you. You know what they're really saying? Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for not giving up. It's important that you not give up. Your customers may give up on you. It's important that you never give up on your customers. You ride that thing all the way out. You keep offering different perspectives, different vantage points. Be a giver, and you'll be just fine. To avoid being confrontational or pushy, it's super simple, man. Remain curious. Curiosity involves an eagerness to learn and understand more. That's all curiosity is. I just want to learn and know more in this situation, in all situations. You're just being a sponge instead of a brick. And you're soaking in and you're learning more. And doing so, this can transform fear into constructive dialogue. So because you're learning more, you begin to ask more questions, deeper questions, going another layer deeper. So if you find that you're not getting the results that you want, it's probably because you've lost your curiosity. And when you lack curiosity, fear steps in. Fear replaces curiosity. And when that happens, this is the death spiral you go into. You start making assumptions about your customers. That's what you do. You're really fearful. You don't know it. You're just fearful of the answer. So you start making these. It's funny. Salespeople would rather tell themselves no than hear no from someone else. So they start making these assumptions. The customer's not qualified. They're not interested. They can't afford it. Not worth my time. They make all these assumptions. And these assumptions are preventing you from learning more. And they lead to missed opportunities. We often tell ourselves no to avoid hearing no from someone else. Huge mistake. So the key to better sales and personal happiness, for that matter, is curiosity. It's crazy, but it's true, man. Because it encourages deeper questions and a better understanding. Max Lucado, in his book, How Happiness Happens, says that happiness comes from giving, not getting. And this aligns with what the Bible says. The Bible says it's better to give than receive. So if you're feeling that you're unhappy, it's probably because you're too focused on what you're getting rather than what you're getting. I've had salespeople quit on me. It's like, I can't take it anymore. I can't take these customers anymore. I said, that's the problem. Take is the operative word. You're no longer giving. You're taking from them. And you've stopped being a contributor. You've lost your curiosity. And so you're so fearful and so dead set and locked in on what you want that you're not giving to others, which creates this scarcity mentality. You think this is the one and only customer in life. You don't have any trust in yourself. You stopped investing. You're not curious. You're not creative. You're not a continuous learner. You just bricked up, man. You're no longer a sponge. You're not soaking it in like you used to. When you first got into sales, it's peace, love, and soul. You believe everything. You're soaking in everything. 30 days later, you're judgmental about everything. You're cynical. No wonder. It's because you've lost your curiosity. And fear is masking it as everybody's an idiot. Just fear. That's all it is. You're fearful. You don't have any trust in yourself. Just start. And you can start over or start anew. Hit the reset button. Just be curious. Objections can be obstacles or opportunities. Depends if you're curious or fearful. There are obstacles if you're just making these assumptions, if you're not pushing past and asking more questions to help shape and steer through the rejection. There are obstacles, but there are opportunities if you remain curious. And what a benefit you get. When you remain curious, a few things is going to happen. Number one, you're going to learn more about your customer and you're going to be able to steer them in the right direction. Number two, it's therapeutic. You're going to help them talk it out. And that boosts their confidence that they're making an informed decision. Number three, you become a better listener and you ask better questions. It's all the reps. You don't learn to ask better questions right out the box. It's through the reps. You got to put those reps in. And so just remaining curious, seeing how long you can keep the ball bouncing. That's the metaphor I have in my mind. Keep the ball bouncing. Don't widen the gap. Close the gap. Keep the ball. What's another question? Just the power of one more. My sales manager told me when I first got in the business, he's like, Marsh, if you don't know what to say, just ask one more question. Just what's one more question? A couple of ways that are very helpful for you when you kind of get stuck or you're new. You just say, how so? Or repeat the last two words that the customer said. So the customer says, I don't know that I can do that today. Not today? And be quiet. Hold the silence. Or, I don't know that I can do it today. How so? And you're not making assumptions. You're being curious. If you just do those two things, repeat the last couple of words to the customer, back to them, which is mirroring, or you just say, how so? And don't run off the rails with these assumptions or this defense mode because, here we go again. Another customer's not buying from me. Everybody else is selling something I'm not. I'm getting picked on in life. See, that's where all that crap goes, man. But if you just do those two things, and dude, I say in sales, but also in life, if you just do those two things, you'll stay curious. So when your mind is trying to make an assumption or you're about to make a statement, just turn it into a question. This will keep you curious. This will open up your mind and your perspective. That way, in turn, it opens up the customer's minds and perspectives and options and availabilities and opportunities. You open that up, and everybody benefits. Curiosity isn't just a tactic. It's a way to live more richly and avoid burnout. People burn out because they no longer are curious. They just start making statements. I mean, think about outside of sales. Think about people that you talk to that are negative or that are just, I'm old, whatever. What are they doing? They're just making a bunch of statements. They're not curious. How can I use all these years I've lived on this earth, everything I've gone through, how can I leverage that to do more? How can I help others in their plight, in their fight? Because I've been through some fires. How can I share that with someone else? This is where the podcast came from. This is exactly where it came from back in 2017. Because I was demoted. I was at the bottom rung in life. And I said, I still have a voice to give. I was told I can't run meetings anymore. You can't counsel salespeople. You got to get yourself straight. And I totally agree with that. But I knew I had a voice to contribute. So even though I couldn't contribute at the position I was once in, I could still contribute. And so I started a podcast. And I shared the things that I was going through and the lessons that I'm learning from as I'm going through. It's what I started sharing. And this 834 episodes later, I'm still doing that. This episode is not for you. It's for me. It's a reminder for me to be curious, to stay curious. And every time, man, that I've gotten frustrated, every time that I get annoyed with people, annoyed with my own family, I'm not curious. I'm not curious. I'm worried about what I'm taking, and I've stopped giving. It's curiosity, man. That's why I say curiosity is not just a tactic. It's a way to have an abundant life and avoid the burnout. So challenge yourself today. That's the only challenge I have for you today. Instead of making assumptions, form it into a question. Keep the conversation going. See where it leads. Remember, like you're a tour guide. You don't be judgmental. Don't knock people down because they don't really know. Help them make a decision. Help them form better questions for themselves. Stimulate something. Ask a question. They answer it, and then it may trigger another question, and they ask a question. And see, this dialogue, this exchange, this working it out, none of that has to be confrontational. It's all a part of having a curious conversation. So, to clean all that up, when you find that you're about to mentally make an assumption or you're about to make a statement, flip it, turn it into a question. That's all I want you to do. And number 2, this is your mental game film. Either write it out or talk it out at the end of the day. Whether you're going home and just recap your day. What were some questions that you asked? And what went right? But also, what could you have done better? Splice into those. This is why it's mental game for him. Splice into these, even if you write them down. I would suggest writing them down, but it's totally your call. Splice into that. And how would you ask it differently this time? Or how would you, what is something you should have said when they answered? Instead of making an assumption, I don't want to be pushy. No, how could I have been persistent in that moment? If you do that, man, you stay curious, you keep the ball bouncing. Not only are your customers more confident in making a decision, you're more confident in offering options and availabilities and opportunities for them to make a better decision. And we all arrive at better results in life. How beneficial is that? All right, let's get out of here. Would you share this episode with someone else? Who needs this? Who's a little crusty right now? Who's bumping their gums about a bunch of statements? Please share this with them. They need this, man. This is a great reminder for me. I'll go back and listen to this as much as you do. I go back and listen to my episodes, not because I want to hear my voice. It's because I need the advice that was laid down. I'm just a tool for giving this advice. This advice isn't from me. I've been blessed with the ability to communicate and be creative and bring these episodes to you, and I'm just sharing it. I'm just giving it back out. So that way it helps you and it helps me too. All right, let's get out of here. Keep it simple, keep it moving, never settle, stay tough. Peace.